So I'm here with Ian Whyte at Wales Comic Con. How have you been enjoying the day?
Yeah, it's been a lovely day.
And of course, we know you from many characters in Game of Thrones, don't we? Which one do you enjoy playing the most? Because there's Gregor, White Walker, and a giant in season 3 as well.
Well, everyone loves a bad guy, and Gregor Clegane is, without doubt, one of the worst characters ever committed to literature, let alone film or television. Playing a villain, you can always let go completely, forget about reality, and just go with it. But Gregor Clegane is one of these characters which requires, a real emotionless performance, because this is a man who lacks any kind of humanity or emotion on any conceivable level. He's a difficult character to play, but he is enjoyable.
How have you found stepping into the boots? Because you took him on in season 2, didn't you?
Yeah, it's always difficult to step into another actor's shoes, but it was just one of those things. They asked me to do it, and I said, yeah, sure.
He's been talked about by Rob Stark in season 3 recently as being a mad dog without a strategic thought in his head. So what do you do to psych yourself up to play a guy who is that crazy? He's got a bit of rage on him, hasn't he, Gregor?
Yeah, well, he lacks emotion on any conceivable level, emotion and humanity on any conceivable level. He's a rapist, he's a killer, he's a child murderer. I don't have any sort of realm of experience in these things.
We're glad to hear.
So it requires a great deal of inventiveness. In season 2, in these inner scenes that I did as his character, it basically came down to sucking all the emotion out of the performance. David Nutter, who was the director at the time, he came up to me and he would say, "Love what you're doing, do less of it."
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, so it just came down to just doing absolutely nothing and trying to play it as absolutely deadpan as possible.
How long do you think a character, though, because he's emotionless, as you say, but I kind of feel like it might be like a turmoil inside him, and obviously he has a lot of rage and sense he kills a lot of people, doesn't he? He likes killing. How long do you think someone like that can survive in a show like Game of Thrones? Or do you think he's got what it takes to survive?
Oh my God, he's making enemies left, right and centre all the time. It's only a matter of time before someone does him in.
And it could be any number of ways in Game of Thrones. As we've seen some very inventive deaths. How would you like to go if you had to get the chop?
How would I like to go?
If you had to go.
Surrounded by dancing girls. This is like a Monty Python scene, isn't it? Choose the manner of your death.
But that manner sounds a bit like something like Tyrion would pick, actually, to be honest with you, don't you think?
I think deep down he's got a sense of humour. I think somebody asked me once if you, put yourself actually in Westeros and, imagine if your character ascended to the Iron Throne of Westeros, what would be your first decree as king? And I said, my first thing I would do is melt down the bloody Iron Throne and replace it with a sofa.
So I like it, a man of rage, but also comfort.
Absolutely.
And in the show, do you see happening, or would you like to see happen, a kind of showdown between your brother Sandor and Gregor?
Yeah, that would be kind of cool, but we're beholden to the writers, and who are of course beholden to the writer. So if that doesn't, I haven't read all of the books, and if it doesn't happen, then it won't happen in the series.
And you do, as you say, you get into a lot of fights, don't you? You're not a man who backs away. Yeah, but is there anyone in the show you think, I'd like to take them on, actually?
Who needs to die, you mean? Yeah. Who needs to die? Janos Slint. He needs to go. He's horrible. Yes, everyone goes. Everyone goes eventually.
Everyone goes eventually. Except you'd like to see Gregor there at the end of the day on his comfy sofa that he's melted down from the Iron Throne.
Kind of Westeros ale in his hand.
Exactly. That could be the final episode. Maybe not. No, don't do that, George. No, we know you don't want to do that. So tell us about working with your co-stars on the show as well, because you have some great scenes. Charles Dance in particular is one of the guys you work with, hasn't he?
Well, the whole series of Game of Thrones is practically a who's who of film and television and theatre. You've got amazing character actors like Charles Dance. That scene that I shared with Charles Dance in Tywin Lannister's office. It's like being in the headmaster's office at school. Just sort of being called in for being a naughty boy. Charles Dance just has this amazing authoritarian presence. And such a lovely guy as well.
Now, of course, we said you played many characters. A White Walker is one of the characters you play. How did it compare, getting in that gear to be a White Walker, than it did getting in the gear for Predator?
Predator? Very similar sort of construction to the costumes. The suits are made of latex foam rubber, very, very tight fitting. The White Walker costume was basically like a leotard, an elaborate leotard, very, very tight fitting, very, very light. The Predator costume varied in weight from about 20 kilos to about 45. The scene that I performed as the White Walker required no actual prosthetics.
That's right, 'cause it's the beginning, and they developed how they look, haven't they?
Because most of it was shot very, very dark lighting, and a lot of the time in a widescreen. Nothing was stuck on me. It was just a mask, a rudimentary mask. Now, because the White Walker is featured in close-up a lot more, now it's a more elaborate prosthetic application. It's one of the iconic monsters of Game of Thrones. We're still not entirely sure what these things are. Are they undead? Are they ghosts? Are they evil demons? Are they wraiths? Who are these things? And they're trying to invade Westeros, and you've got whole armies of wildlings trying to escape from them and laying waste to the north of Westeros in their path. So I think we're going to learn a lot more about what these characters actually are.
Now in season 3, the first episode, we see you as a giant, don't we? What was it like, the whole get-up for the giant costume? And it looks like you're on stilts. Is that right, or was that CG? How did it work?
No, I'm not on stilts.
You're not?
No, I was made up as if I was a giant, which is a departure for me, because I've never actually played a real giant. No. And then we did the close-up scenes in Iceland on location, and we did the wide shots against a green screen to get a proper size enhancement.
So how was it filming in Iceland? 'Cause I've heard from other cast members who we've spoken to, like Rose Leslie, who shot out there, that it's absolutely beautiful. What was your impression of filming out there? And is it difficult as well? Is it a challenging terrain in which to shoot a TV programme?
Yeah, it is challenging. Challenging conditions, primarily the weather. We were stuck. I flew out and was stuck in this little town called Akureyri in the north of the country for about 2 days with one of the other actors, because we couldn't get to the location, which was on the other side of the mountain range, because we just had about 2 feet of snow the night before, and the snowplows hadn't cleared the roads yet. So we were sitting in this hotel twiddling our thumbs. And of course the production were waiting for the weather to clear. When the weather cleared, my God, it was absolutely beautiful. Clear blue sky, the contrast of the sky and the pristine white snow that just falls is absolutely amazing.
What has it meant to you to be part of Game of Thrones?
Yeah, it's HBO's #1 TV show, and you know what? It's an absolute honour to be a part of it. It really is, and to play multiple characters as well. They can keep offering me parts. I don't mind.
And we look forward to seeing many more. And would you like to send a message to the fans? What would you like to say to the fans who are watching this video with you?
I'd like to say to the fans, thank you for watching and for making it what it is, because the production is driven by the fans, and as long as the fans keep enjoying it, then we'll keep making it.